You still sick?
You just in a
No, I'm good.
Oh, you sure?
Can we start the session?
Well,
the set has been started, Daniel. If you be quiet, people are in. Act like a professional for once.
We're looking out for you.
Oh, I don't know why we would start that now.
Look at nobody said anything, but we are definitely in the session.
We're
just
live.
waiting.
Usually when we start, there's the chat's immediately blowing up. So
Right.
It wouldn't be the first time you've made an incorrect call.
Incorrect in what manner, sir?
Oh, here we go.
There we go. Boom.
Brian
is I think if we could go back and do stats, Brian is most likely
to chat first.
I think he's the chat first guy.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. I think he probably leads. But hey, there's our guy David Laredo, keeping everybody safe in San Antonio.
David Laredo, we've got some questions for you, sir.
Hang on. Everybody, just
saying.
Make sure that we are. We gotta spread the love in the peer officiating universe.
And Foreman in Beantown.
Here we
go. Tucker.
Where is that? Is that in Ohio? Is that
Beantown?
No,
That's Boston.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Okay. First of all, it's always fun to see the logo. This was on the chain crew at UTSA at the Alamo Dome this past weekend.
How about that?
So we zoom in, it breaks apart, but that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. On the chain gang, wearing the pure officiating logo. I can't love every single bit of this. In fact, we should standardize the national uniform for chain crew.
Underneath the vest.
Just make it the pure officiating polo.
Not sure if we could afford the NIL deal, Daniel. So you may want to pause on that a little bit.
I tell you what, I think
we would be the outflow of the NIL deal.
Right. I don't know how that works.
I'm not sure about all that.
So David, do you know, this is the reason I was asking is this is a San Antonio area. Do you know who this might be? We'd love to just reach out and tell them to keep doing that. I mean, thank you for doing that.
It was cool to see. It was cool to see.
Right next to the venerable Coach Bennett, coaching his tail off in some golf shorts, which I fully endorse and respect. I think, listen, indoors September games, we should officiate in shorts. What do you think?
No, stop.
Just stop right there.
Just stop. No. That look is horrible.
Okay.
No.
I'm glad to see my innovative side has rubbed off on you, but you're going too far there.
All right, too much.
Way too much.
Oh man, what are we doing?
I don't know. All the small talk that you're doing. I mean,
I just wanted to show. Football. I mean, I'm just watching excellently officiated college football. By the way,
okay.
In Conference USA, big game.
Okay.
And I'm just watching the game because it's my favorite conference, as I've said before. That's not new.
It's not your favorite conference.
It is my favorite conference.
That is new. You've never said that.
Oh, it's my favorite. There's another conference that's largely in Texas that I don't really.
I don't even think that Conference USA would. How do I say this delicately? Want your support?
Embrace.
Oh yeah, no, I know them. I know them. So, anyways, and it just that picture popped out in as I was watching video, and I had a little bit of pride. It was cool to see that. Now we paid them thousands for that guy to wear that shirt. Other than that,
who did we pay?
The thousands we don't have. Yeah, there's nobody to pay, and there's no money to pay with. So
that's right. It all works out.
All right, where are we going tonight?
I think we're going to the Great Northeast. We're going to start in the Great Northeast first. Our guy Seth Wasserman shared a play, and it's really interesting. So how about we take a look at it? We're going to start a poll. So basically, we're going to ask you, how should we handle the play? I'm going to start the poll. Just chill. Everybody chill. And we'll start the play, and then we'll talk about what's going on. So
Hey,
I don't know where WP is. Maybe Western Pennsylvania. What does that say? Pioneer Athletics. Something Pioneer.
the
Athletics.
Pioneers.
William Patterson.
William Patterson. Okay.
Obvious.
Oh, Seth just put it in the chat. Yeah, no, I read what Seth put in the chat. William Patterson in New Jersey.
Got you. Maybe it's in Patterson, New Jersey. So the question is, how are we supposed to handle this play? Bill Bishop says no. Bill is from New Jersey. For those of you who don't know, he lives in San Diego, but he's originally from Jersey.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
That I think I knew that.
Why is that cool? Like, what's cool about that?
diametrically-
Not that it's not cool, but what is cool about it?
I think
been to
it's
both-
cool
I've been to
because you
both
went to the
places and-
diametrically opposite side of the country.
I was just
Exactly.
gonna say I've been to both places, and San Diego is far superior to New Jersey. But with all due respect,
Far superior in what way? Weather?
my preferences.
Oh,
yeah.
and everything.
Well, weather definitely.
Hey, if you click do it later, in reference to the poll, how do you when is later?
It's there now. Just go back to polls and go to open up at the top.
Open.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
So that's how you get it from kind of blocking your view to over here. That's awesome.
that's correct. It should have been sliding out to the side though, and not
Yeah,
necessarily
it did.
blocking
It
the view.
did.
Oh, okay.
But it was in the bottom. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my setup's not correct, but it was blocking just like the bottom left.
Imagine that you don't have setup that works right there. Sorry. Yeah.
That's not what you heard me say.
This
Hey,
is,
Brandon, can you evaluate the left tackle's block, by the way, while we're getting
yeah,
poll results coming
this
in?
is NJAC football right here.
Yeah, all right. Stop acting like you know what it is.
No, I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the left tackle. We talk about in phase, out of phase with defensive backs. We could probably define an out of phase blocker with this gentleman's technique here.
Yeah.
He's just completely out of phase with what's happening. As I've been told recently, the color barrier is broken early. Is that
Okay.
safe to say?
That's probably safe to say.
So if we have bad technique and we have a bad body position, bad is a subjective evaluation, obviously, but I think we kind of know what good blocking looks like and good technique looks like. By rule, we got to
Right.
block inside, the frame. Usually that's coupled with our body being between the football and the defender. In this case, all of that is basically reversed on its axis, right? And everything, we're just completely opposite. So, I mean, do we see much get taken away from that guy that's getting blocked? I think there's enough.
Yeah.
With everything there, there's restriction, and then we just got to decide, could this player 94 in the white jersey have been, could he have made a play on this to defend this pass more than he was afforded the opportunity to? I think so.
Okay.
It's early too. I mean, there's a lot of this is a really early hold.
Correct. The restriction occurred really quickly, like you said.
Yeah.
So if I was the center judge and I was just thinking about my mechanics, if that umpire in the backfield, sorry, that's umpire in the backfield. Think about my mechanics. I would wonder what was I looking at, just to try to figure that out.
Right. Yeah, that'd be a good thing to do.
And folks
I
continue
think
to
that's a
trickle
great
in.
approach for every play.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking it up, T-Todd. That's why.
Throw the flag for OPI and force 15 yards from the spot where Team A recovered the fumble. Throw the flag for OPI and force 15 yards from the spot. The poll writer was ready to roll today here.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Throw the flag for OPI. Wow.
It seems like perhaps the audience has decided, you know what, I don't feel like reading all of that because the votes are.
Where are we looking for the OPI aspect?
I'm sorry, bottom of the screen. For those of us who work that position, it's pretty obvious where we're looking. For those of us who don't work that position, maybe we need some coaching. and guidance. Look at the
And
bottom
that's
of the
okay.
screen.
That's okay.
Number 3 receiver
that's
at
why we're
the
here.
bottom of the
That's
screen.
why I'm here. So, on these plays, I don't know what's going on, but sometimes these are timing plays,
Right.
and sometimes the timing gets disrupted, and that really doesn't matter. But it does anytime there's a timing issue. And I don't even know if there is one here, but on these types of RPO style plays, that's really going to cause some issues because RPO, this scheme, as we all know, is skirting with the rules, right? Whether it's blocking downfield or it's releasing linemen downfield, the whole point of it is to get people matched up in space to create some advantageous matchups for the offense. And it always is on the line of the rules, isn't it?
Yes.
So
But this one
any
is
disruption to timing is going to really be an issue for the RPO scheme.
right. Well, I would question this team's execution and maybe play design because I'm not quite sure what this is. Either
I don't know who was supposed to run the route by the line of scrimmage, but somebody
yeah,
forgot to. Yeah.
This play didn't work out as designed, I would assume. And if it did work out as designed, we maybe should go to page 2 on our playbook and start thinking about other plays. I'm going to end the poll. I apologize to everyone who did not get a chance to vote. I don't know why I'm apologizing because we gave them no opportunity.
All right.
Okay, we got an 80-10-10. Oh, so 10% of us said throw the flag for OPI and force 15 yards from the spot where Team A recovered the fumble. 10% of us said since there is no enforcement spot, decline the penalty for OPI. It's 1st and 10 for Team A at the spot where they recovered the fumble. And 80% of us said throw the flag for OPI and force 15 yards from the previous spot. So let's start, Daniel. It doesn't sound like anybody says we should not throw the flag. Why is this a foul? It looks like Team B intercepted the pass. So what's the advantage? What's your thoughts there?
Well, so really, really happy with the pure officiating community that we didn't answer that. But we could go into a conversation because there is a way this play ends where there is no advantage for Team A or Team B rather, right? If we throw, because we could talk about yardage and we're going to get there in a second, but let's just say that the yardage is a wash anyway, right? And there's no real difference relative to the outcome if we call OPI or don't. We have a fumble, we have an interception rather, and then a fumble. Team A recovers at 50, wherever that enforcement ends up being.
Right.
Spoiler alerts. Here's the problem with that. Well, there's multiple problems. The biggest problem from my perspective is just the way that we process action and respond to it. We really, in my opinion, want to be as habitual as possible when we identify fouls. And look, there's a lot of boxes often that we have to check to create a foul, and OPI is certainly one of those. We have to have contact that's material in nature. It's got to be in one of our categories. We have to have a pass that crosses the line of scrimmage. We have to have that contact be in close proximity. The timing has to be appropriate. When we check all of those boxes, what we want to do as officials is just respond to that action appropriately every single time, right? And so way before we even realize this is an intercepted pass, we have a receiver blocking downfield illegally in the not even just the same third, but really close proximity way early. Now the ball's thrown, it's crossed the line of scrimmage. We've checked all the boxes for OPI. Let's throw that flag. So I think from our own perspective, just doing what we do on a regular basis, there's value in that. Secondarily, the offense has just had run an illegal play. We need to communicate to them, whether it's an advantage or disadvantage. This was overtly illegal, right? We can talk about marginal acts and, classify them a little bit differently. With something like this, we need to communicate to the offense, like, coach, your guy is blocking downfield. The ball was in the air. That's a foul. And then, so now we're communicating and hopefully preventing them from doing that in the future. There's probably more reasons out there, but those are the two things that really come to mind for me, that why we want to penalize this regardless of the outcome of the play, or throw a flag regardless of the outcome of the play.
So as you eloquently put me to sleep, Daniel, or is that your way of just saying if you see a foul, throw the flag?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm a simple man, and it's interesting because I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing: you don't have to say I put you to sleep. That was rude and unnecessary.
No, I said you were eloquent. Did you miss the eloquent part?
Oh, I did. I was really focused on the put you to sleep part.
Right. I said you were eloquent.
I just like to know the why. I know that there are a few people out there who also like to know the why. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
So when I used to actually have a theory that I would subscribe to that I had to get fixed basically because I would be working this position. You know, sometimes we have a pass in the end zone, the receiver gets grabbed, and then he ended up making the catch anyway for a touchdown. It's like, I'm not gonna call that because he caught the pass anyway.
Right.
And then or something similar to that, and I had to get schooled and really fix myself and realize, man, if you got a foul, you got to just throw your flag. Doesn't matter what the rest of the play is. If you see a foul, throw your flag. Obviously, you have to go through the evaluative processes, two-step process on certain fouls. You can't just ignore the two-step process. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying
check
is
all the boxes.
You're not saying call it a grab. You're saying you got to make it rise to the level of foul that is impactful to the play, advantage, disadvantage, safety fouls, whatever we're doing. Yeah. Okay.
That's correct.
That's what I said.
Okay.
And then there's the whole offset argument, which is valid.
Yeah,
at times.
that's there.
You know,
right.
I think there's multiple things out there maybe that we're.
I think you and I always like to use that when it's favors our argument on a play, DY.
I was tepid on it. I was tepid.
I really don't love that, but
I don't either.
I use it a lot of times when it helps me.
Yeah. So anyway,
Rob is asking about the IDP with the receivers at the bottom. Rob, one thing we want to do as line of scrimmage officials is quote unquote make the formation legal if we can. And I think that we can put a blade of grass between the number one receiver and the number two receiver. So in my estimation, number one is on, number 2 and 3 are off. And I understand what you're saying, but I think we want to make this formation legal if we can. And I think we are able to make this formation legal.
Agree. No tight end. So we're not covering up a tight end. There is a slight stagger that makes him the 4th in the backfield, not the 5th. Or not
that's if the league you work in subscribes to that.
Okay.
Yes. Good point, Brandon. But that's kind of I think that's a general philosophy that many of us use. I'll stop.
I mean, I think there would be a lot.
I see you in the chat, Brandon. I didn't even.
No,
okay,
we're good. We gotta cover all our bases. There's a lot of line of scrimmage folks that would probably subscribe to that.
Yeah,
but it's very conceivably possible that there's a league out there that says we're not doing that because of X, Y, and Z that we may not know. So we just want to be mindful that that's possible.
Right.
Sure.
Gotcha.
And if 88 ends up somehow that guy up top is off, the 5th guy in the backfield, now you've got a decision to make. You're either looking at IDP or ILF.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's the result of this play?
Do you need John Rohn? Is that what you're asking for? Some John Rohn action right
here? I was about to cue the audio because we keep talking about stuff that really doesn't matter. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm trying to be in character. I thought I was giving you time to play the sound clip, but
I wasn't queuing up the sound clip.
Oh, okay. But okay, so we do have an interception followed by a fumble recovered by the original offense.
Correct.
So it is first down for Team A at the spot of the recovery.
That is the result of the play.
That's the result of the play.
Yeah. People always get confused with that, Brandon, when you ask that question, because if we have a flag on the ground, people start doing penalty enforcements, but that's irrelevant to the question that you're asking. The question at hand is, what is the result of the play?
So the offending team is the team that commits the foul. That's the offense.
Yep.
So they committed a foul before they got this ball on a change of possession. I'm not sure how relevant that is. The bottom line is the defense has the option, right?
That's correct. You go to Team B and ask them, what do we want to do here, guys?
So we know, just going through penalty enforcement procedures, that
Basic spot is what on a pass play,
previous.
because this foul occurred during a pass play. Let's make sure we understand that. So the basic
Right.
spot on a pass play is the previous spot.
The interval from the snap to when the pass ended. Is that right?
Correct.
That's the
That's
pass
correct.
play.
Yep.
So previous spot. So then, we just don't want to make the mistake here of thinking, well, they lost yardage on this fumble recovery, so we're just going to decline or not call it or something like that. I mean, like Daniel said, this is a pretty advantageous foul.
Yes.
And the defense should be afforded the opportunity to accept this penalty if they so wish.
Well, we're not giving the defense an option, I would hope, on this particular play. We're not going to say, what do you want to do? It's 3rd and 5.
Right.
After penalty enforcement, we're going to be 3rd and 20.
3rd and 20 from the 25.
From the 20,
26.
Yeah, wherever that is. We're not giving team
versus 1st and 10 from the
35.
35.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
34. Yeah, we're not doing
34.
that. Yeah. And then also we can't, this is not a quote unquote tack on type of foul. We can't tack this on to the end of the play.
Right.
This foul occurred during the pass play. We have to enforce it based upon the rules of the basic spot enforcement and 3 and 1 if we need to use it, which we don't need to use in this situation. Well, actually, I guess we kind of.
You're always using 3 and 1.
Yeah, but doesn't it mainly correspond to running plays? Am I going nuts when I say that?
Yeah, 3 and 1. There's 4 basic spots. Or I'm sorry, there's 4 enforcement spots, right? No, there are 4 scenarios.
Okay.
The foul can be by the offense or the defense, and it can be behind or beyond the basic spot.
Correct.
Those are your 4 scenarios. So we're always using that.
Right.
We just got to make sure we know how to apply it.
Correct. And it starts with the result of the play, and it starts with knowing when the foul occurred.
And then that gets you into your basic spot.
And it gets us into our basic spot. We're going to geek out a little bit later. Brandon loves when I geek out. And you're not aware that we're going to geek out, Brandon. We're going to geek out later.
We're geeking. I'm ready. So then is there any issue? What else was the issue on this play?
That's it. That's it. Is it a foul? Do we need to throw a flag? I want to point out one other thing.
ABA.
I go nuts with beanbag mechanics.
Oh, no.
Our referee, if I'm watching myself here, I want to know, I'm throwing my beanbag, why and where am I hoping for it to land? Am I just throwing my beanbag to say there's a fumble on the play, or am I attempting to mark the spot where possession was lost? And if that's the case, then I need to probably work to get my beanbag to the spot where possession was lost versus just throwing a beanbag randomly to say, I got a beanbag.
Mm-hmm. I do think I understand that a beanbag does help sell a call a fumble at times. But I don't know if that's needed here, it's pretty much a fumble. Yeah, it just kind of loses the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember, have you ever thrown a beanbag on a reverse mechanic before from that position?
That'll be a no. That would be a no.
Yeah. I think pass fumble, it's okay to throw the beanbag. Especially if it's like a weird one where maybe not everybody's clear. And sometimes your beanbag can help, be a signal to what you're doing with the play.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ruling fumble. I bet, I don't know about you, but I bet 2/3 of the pass fumble plays I ever had, I didn't even throw a beanbag when I ruled fumble.
Well, I remember someone who trained us and who we all espouse.
Who literally said the last thing you ever need to do is worry about throwing that darn thing.
That's just one more thing that can be questioned.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we always can rule things.
Absolutely. The beanbag does not mean there's a fumble. And if I don't put my beanbag down, there's no fumble. That's not.
That's right. That's right. So anything else on this? This is a good warm-up play. And
it's a great play. Good play. Lots of consider.
So appreciate you, Seth. Thank you. If anyone else has plays to submit and want some feedback, let us know. We love seeing footage of our Pure Officiating Universe members.
These are always great.
Was this Seth's play?
This was Seth's play. It was.
Nice.
Yeah, Daniel, you need to read the chat. Seth was commenting on how the back judge was looking pristine out there.
Oh, he looks incredible. Where'd that OPI flag land though?
Ooh,
Wow.
that's maybe too soon.
That's my guy.
Exactly. Appreciate all the conversations we have about plays. Send plays in because we want to share these videos. This is outstanding stuff.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
next?
Oh, wait a minute. What are we gonna do with the clock?
Oh, that's a good one.
Wait a second.
A little ABA.
Does it matter?
Yeah.
So it probably matters on what you do with the penalty. That's a joke. It doesn't.
I don't think that's a joke.
I see what
I
you
think you're
did
buying
there.
time.
Doesn't, right? If we call
No.
it.
No, it does
Yeah,
not.
so we want to make sure we understand that. Now, of course, we got 3-4-3 and all those kinds of good things, but I don't know where we're at here. I'm trying to take a peek at this scoreboard, but it's not helping me out. The video just chops off the scoreboard. But if we're just out, if we're just in a normal part of the game, this is just going to be ready for play, right? There's really no major clock stopper here.
No. Wind it up.
Wind it. Cool.
All right.
Love it.
Great
All
play.
right. What's next, Mr. Brandon Cruz?
Where are we going next? Let's go to San Antonio. So,
The road.
what? The Roadrunners? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, I said the runners of the road.
Yeah. Good team. Fun team to watch. So let's talk about spots. So pull up.
What happened? We hit it. On the
Oh, it's
side
not
earlier. It is.
Oh,
But it
good.
was on the side earlier. It didn't do it that time.
Oh, really? Where's it at now?
It just like kind of took over the screen, but we fixed that. Don't worry about it, Brandon. We fixed
Okay.
it.
You got it? Nice.
Well, everyone has to do it on their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that happens.
Nobody
Don't
cares.
worry.
So listen. Yeah, we're giving people time to watch the play. We're simply just talking about where the spot is here. What is the proper spot on this play? And we've got 3 options, and they're all within a yard of each other. So who cares? It
Right.
could matter. I mean, these spots are important. So this could matter. And beyond all that, I mean, we're officiating geeks, and we got to know the rules, and we got to make sure that we understand why we're doing what we're doing, don't you think? And then we also got to
yeah.
talk about clock status. If this was inside of 2 minutes, which by the way it is. Right. So we're looking for the proper spot here to start. And then I got a lot of stuff to geek out on this play for you guys if you want.
Wait,
Let's do
are
it.
you calling yourself a geek?
I've always called myself a geek. You can't even insult me on that one.
For sure.
Right. I didn't know you'd embraced it, but it's good.
It is.
This is also another good example that we talk about all the time. Possession is established by the control and body part elements of the process and not by the time, right? So time is complete here when he survives the ground, but he's clearly out of bounds. So if we weren't consistent with awarding possession based on control and body part, then this would be an incomplete pass. And the rules obviously don't want this as an incomplete pass. This is why all it takes for example, momentum near the goal line is control the ball with the body part and the ball completely in the field of play. That creates momentum so long as the process of gaining possession is completed without a new bobble, right, Daniel? We've talked about that before.
Absolutely.
And I know that there was a crew back in the day that kind of struggled with that concept that you and I happened to be on, and that you and I happened to be the ones struggling with that concept. But I think we've got it straight now.
Absolutely. It was confusing as heck. First time we had that conversation.
Yeah, it was. It was. You were on the wrong side of it, and I was right there with you.
Well, I don't remember. I don't remember the details. They're a little hazy to me at this time, but I just remember we had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like me, if I'm being honest, but I guess
Not anymore. You've come such a long way, Daniel.
I have. That's true. I hope we all have.
Yep, no question. How are we doing on the poll?
We have a little bit better.
We're a little hesitant to pull the trigger tonight, but we've got some folks who have voted.
Okay.
We're doing a little better than the last poll. The last poll, it was a struggle to get people to vote.
I think all those words were intimidating.
Well, just buckle up if that was intimidating.
We really haven't backed off in these, what are we now, 2.5 years into this craziness? We haven't backed off in the complication of the polls. I know that.
Why should we? Why should we?
I didn't say we should. It was just an observation.
Right.
It was just a John Roan. What's the result of the play, man?
I'll close the poll.
Where are we at?
I'm tired of waiting around.
You're tired of it? You're kind of grumpy today again. 60%, you're going to come through the screen and fight somebody. 60% said put it at the 50. It's where the ball crossed the sideline. But hang on. 27% said it's where he gained firm control with his foot on the ground. And that would be at the plus 49.5. So we know that plus is synonymous in this case to the B 49.5, right?
Right.
Or the 49.5 going in, whatever you want to say, short side of the field. We all got things we like to say. So that's what we're talking about there. But then there is 13% that said put the ball where it became dead. And so there's a lot of rules that seemingly contradict here, if you'll agree. The ball's not dead until his elbow hits the ground, right? You agree with that? But that's not really the spot. So there's also forward progress, you're thinking, because his forward progress is at the plus 49.5 where he controls it, but there's no contact by the defense. So he's really on his own, isn't he?
So forward progress only applies if the defense has contact on the offensive player. Right.
So that's not the spot, and that's not where the ball's dead, where he initially controls it. So that's why, 25% of us with the 49.5 on the plus side of the field, we wouldn't want to, make that the spot.
Is that your nice way of saying that 27% of us are just wrong?
I leave that HR, up to you. You've been counseled on that, so I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Oh.
The 49.5 on the other side where the ball becomes dead. Well, the ball has already broken the plane of the sideline. So I believe this, and I'll ask you guys if you believe the same. The spot is dictated by where the ball breaks the plane of the sideline, regardless of which direction. And I don't often see this, but regardless of which direction the player is heading on the field, right? If you consider a player moving toward the opponent's end zone, we know that the spot is by rule where the ball breaks the plane of the sideline. Unless we're talking about goal line extended, which we're clearly not here. And I think it's the same way if he's actually heading back on his own towards his own goal line. Would you agree with that? Or is there any reason to think it's different?
I agree with you.
Yeah. So it's just a weird kind of somewhat simple, but somewhat kind of a mind baffling play to me as I watched this game, which I was just a huge fan of watching this crew work and these officials. It was awesome, the work they did. And this play popped out and the spot was nailed. I'll give you the rest of the story on this. So we got the spot at the 50, which we believe to be correct based on how the rules are written. One thing we got to make sure we address here is we're at 45 seconds to go in the second quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to confuse all these different concepts and create forward progress in the field of play. And that would kind of dictate how we handle the clock coming out of this. This is simply a player out of bounds, right? There's no forward progress. It's a player out of bounds. We're just going to start the clock on the snap. And that's where I think it's a little bit weird to me because he's only out of bounds when the ball's at the 49.5 on the minus side of the field. The spot's at the 50, but we can't let all that confuse us. These are all concepts that are relatively simple, but when you put them together, they can create confusion in the moment. So there's a little bit of issue on the clock on this one. we got it sorted out. It was fine. Not a big deal. But, just want to make sure we all are on the same page here. So anything that you're thinking
from a
that jumps out?
from a mechanical perspective, should we wind this clock? Should we kill this clock? Because I'm confused when you say
Good. The spot is at the 50, which almost makes you think it's forward progress.
Right.
But it's not.
It's not.
Because there's no contact by the defense. The ball is dead when he hits out of bounds, but that's not the spot.
Right.
But he's on his own. I know. That's why this is simple but confusing.
Right.
So the dead ball spot by rule is where the ball breaks the plane of the sideline on a player going out of bounds like this, which is what we know. It's just a little bit of a different play.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So if we go to Rule 2 and look at forward progress, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rules that are referenced, and 1, 2 ARs that are referenced, and 1 exception rule that is referenced, and an AR for that exception that is referenced, all under the forward progress rule.
Seemingly the most simple thing.
Right.
And we've got all these things working.
All right. So just to mirror and echo what you're saying about it being confusing, the rule book doesn't really help us out much because we got to read 17 million pages just to figure out where to spot this ball.
Yeah. Yeah. And we just want to be sure that we're clear. Okay, the ball's dead when he's out of bounds, but the spot is dictated by where it crosses the plane of the sideline. It's not he's on his own. So there's no defensive contact, significant defensive contact pushing him back. So he doesn't get, quote, what we hear a lot, give him all he's earned. Well, he hasn't earned anything because he's on his own, so that only applies when there's defensive contact. It's just a really interesting play. Is this reviewable? So if we put the ball at the, 49.5 on the other side of the field, I mean, I don't know, it's a half-yard difference. So obviously, I don't know how much. Well, what if that's the line to gain, right? We could talk about that. Is this a reviewable aspect? Of course, if it becomes significant. So if the 50 is the line to gain, I'm sorry. If the 49.5 on the plus side of the field is the line to gain, and that's where we spot it, this would become reviewable.
Okay. But as presented, the play as presented here, there's nothing reviewable about this particular play as presented.
Yeah, even if we somehow talk ourselves into forward progress and we start the clock, I don't believe, unless there's any new interpretations recently, I don't believe the clock is yet reviewable here.
The clock is reviewable under 2 scenarios: when the ruling on the field is reversed.
Right.
And or when time expires in the second or fourth quarters. Otherwise, the clock is not reviewable.
Yeah.
Now, we could get into some collaboration, depending on what league you work in. If your league wants the replay officials collaborating with the on-field officials, if they notice the clock is running, hey, why is this clock running?
Yeah.
Play ended at 44 or whatever the clock was.
Reset it.
Okay,
good. Now, wait a second though. Let's put the goal line in here at some point. So let's just say the goal line is somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's the 49.5. Maybe it's the 50.
Make it the 50. At the 50, that's fun.
What changes? Well,
a lot changes.
The rules change.
The rules totally change.
What doesn't change is the process of gaining possession.
Correct. That's always consistent.
So we know that. And here's another thing that's interesting here. The possession isn't gained. The process of the catch is not complete really until, his elbow hits the ground there and then he rolls over and maintains control. Yes. So once he rolls over on his back and maintains control, we know the process of the catch is complete. That's obviously well behind the 50. So would it be a touchdown?
Yes.
We kind of addressed it earlier. It would. So even though the spot would be incorrect at the plus 49.5 here as the play is presented, that really is where possession is gained, right? Because control of the football, body part in bounds.
Yep.
And as long as we complete the process of this catch, then almost I mean, I don't know if that's ironic or paradoxical. He gets all of that if that's in the end zone.
That's correct. Well, it's because possession of
Not
a
to-
live ball in the end zone by a player immediately causes the ball to be dead.
And again, what's paradoxical is the process of the possession isn't really established until he rolls over with the ball on the ground and the ball's not even close to that spot.
Correct.
But we know what we said, control and body part establishes the point of possession,
Exactly.
the spot of possession.
It initiates possession, then the possession is completed once the process is complete.
Yeah. So these are amazing concepts that probably get a lot of eye rolls, but man, we mess them up a lot. And
People
it's
are
hard.
drooling right now.
Yeah. And it's hard to talk about them because they're kind of confusing. And you can say, well, why isn't it just the same everywhere? Because the rules change, right? So if the 50 to the 40 on the plus side of the field, if that's actually the end zone, this gaining possession is governed by a whole new set of rules than what this play is.
Yes.
And that's why it's different, even though the process of gaining possession is the same. Why does nobody understand what a catch is? The old cliche, even though
Right.
I don't like that, but that's probably why.
Yeah, it's confusing.
So Sergio says he does feel like the end zone is more clear than this situation in the field of play,
Right.
which I can understand. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is what you said. The governing rule that just changes everything is that possession of a live ball in the opponent's end zone causes the ball to become dead.
Right.
Possession of a live ball in the field of play without contact by the defense, like in this play, never causes the ball to become dead. So this is just a continuous live ball until some other rule kicks in,
Right.
which in this case is the ball breaking the plane to the sideline and him going out of bounds.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Wanted
Good
to
play.
just wanted to let that
Let it marinate a little bit.
marinate.
Yeah. You got a little excited there, Brandon. About
I
this.
love these plays. I love these plays. It's just simple. Half yard difference. Who cares?
I know, right? How about some of this action right here?
What are we doing here? Oh, let's look at the clock. So we've all been in situations where am I supposed to play it?
Oh, I can play it.
We've all been in situations where the clock is critical, right? Yeah, we kind of talk about that a lot around here. So the clock is critical. It was, by the way, it was second and like 24.
Okay.
There's a lot of different things we can talk about here, but let's talk about management of the clock. So it's second and 24, and I believe it's about a 20-yard gain, bringing up 3rd and 4.
Oh, and it was short of the line to gain.
Yeah. So the result of the play is a catch, but for 20 yards short of the line to gain. So remember the old thing about double stakes or whatever we used to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a thing we don't want to forget about. For one reason or another, the clock stopped. All right. The clock stopped after that play.
Yeah.
So the play started with 8 seconds, 2nd and 24. I'm sorry, the play started with 15 seconds. It's 2nd and 24. We have a nice catch down the middle in the middle of the field. Obviously, runner down inbounds. If we're short of the line to gain, we know that the clock should keep running, but it doesn't. Okay, don't know why. Not here to place blame. Whatever. Obviously, the offense is well coached, which is why this is a fun team to watch, in my opinion. They get up to the line and spike the football. And I mean, if you were to stop the video when they spike it, there's 5 seconds left.
So we were talking earlier about replay getting involved when the clock goes to 0. So I guess.
Okay. Well, then guess what? After the ball spiked, the clock operator ran the clock down to 0. So I'm really not sure. This play brings up a lot of issues. So one, okay, listen, and I've never done these because it's just not the position I've worked. We need to make sure we're all on the same page. Clock operators, side judges, field judges, line judges. If any of the line judges are still interested in the clock, I don't think they are anymore. But if any of them are, it'd be great. And I know the clock operator has done it for 30 years, right? I mean, I know that we know everything about the clock, and it's really, really an easy thing. And then this happens. So is there anything that you guys like to specifically address? And I know, DY, you're talking to play clock operators, but, it can be crucial here too. Tutai, you used to talk to these guys, game clock operators.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I know we've done it for 30 years. I get that. So I understand that. And I understand it's just the clock, and we're all, it's really, we're important people, but how do we overcome that thought to make sure, and I don't, not placing blame here, but how do we overcome that to make sure we don't have this happen?
So first of all, we can't control if it's going to happen or not, but we can just attempt to work with the clock operators in pregame to ensure that they do what we need them to do. And this is a perfect example of something that I always would talk to the clock operators about. If you know for a fact the clock should be stopped and none of us on the field stop the clock, let the clock run. Tell them that every single time. And they would all think that I would want them to stop the clock because they will finish my sentence for me. Then I should stop it. No, do not stop the clock. You only do what we do on the field. If we stop it, you stop it. If we don't stop it, you don't stop it. So this is a scenario where a clock operator could have gotten confused and saw a stake and said, oh, it's a first down. That's not their job. Their job is to look for the covering official and operate the clock based on the signals given by the officials on the field. Period. Point blank. The end. I guess that's not the answer you were looking for, Brandon.
Well, I liked it.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know, Daniel, in a situation when, obviously we cover things and mistakes happen. We cover things as crews and we make mistakes as officials.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of, and we can't stop it. And that's the thing that we got to understand. We can't stop a clock operator from making a mistake. But now we're in a situation where it's a mess and we have to figure out how to handle it. And then that becomes an issue. And then I guess the question is, how do we handle this?
Hey, sorry about that. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Your mobile studios ran out of
battery.
No,
we're not mobile. We're not. We're definitely not mobile. We're fixed. DY, anything with play clock operators that you, or is it not as crucial here? Just before we move on to how we handle, because that's obviously what we want to talk about.
I mean, anything in the conversation maybe that's relative or specific to this scenario?
To end of game, yeah. I mean, play clock operation is at the end of the play, bump it to 40. If it's an administrative stop, bump it to 25. Be aware of injuries and helmets off, I guess. What else?
Well, no, I mean, there's other things we talk about. I think, well, the first thing I would say is it's really similar to Tutai's conversation is just let us manage the play clock. And if you think something's wrong, just wait for us to fix it. Except I do tell play clock operators, if it's a 40 and you accidentally set it to 25 and I'm doing dead ball stuff and I don't notice it in a few seconds, you realize it, just pump it back up to 40. You don't have to wait for me on that. So maybe that's a little different. And then, I mean, the only thing I ask them to do is just run the play clock through the game, all the way through the game. Just keep running the play clock. Even if you think we don't need it, just do the same thing every play. Nice. And sometimes they look at you a little bit funny about that. They don't always like to do that.
Right.
There's a pride in like knowing that the clock's running and it's under 40, so I don't have to start it, which I don't necessarily understand.
Exactly. That drives me bananas.
Yeah, we don't need that discretion.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have the clock at 0, and we can see the officials are going to get together, which I think is obviously the right thing to do here because we're going to discuss things. This is really an uncomfortable feeling in the moment, isn't it?
Oh,
It really is.
So, okay. I don't know how the conversation went. Do you want me to tell you what they did, or do you just want to work through it with how you hope to do it? Like, what do you want to do?
Let's work through it. I don't want to. I want to see
Okay.
how I think.
All right.
I'll let you go first. How do you think we should handle this? Then I would love to hear what the crew did.
why don't you go first?
So
Don't never put yourself out there, do it.
So I'll put it like this. I'm hopeful, and I would like to hope. Again, I keep wanting to use the word hope because we all like to put ourselves on pedestals. Yeah, we're such a great official. Yeah, we're the best. I know. Yeah, okay, get it. I'm hopeful that in this situation, I would notice the clock when the play ends because I really like to work the clock as a referee. Just I guess that's the side judge in me coming out. I'm hopeful that I would notice the clock in this situation and then have an awareness of how much time was on the clock when the play ended. I'm also hopeful that I would have somewhat of an idea of how long it took for the players to get set up, get the ball spiked, and everything like that.
Oh,
It's
my guy Rory.
Yeah, that is Rory.
I didn't even know. Sorry, I'm in present.
I'm just hopeful that I would have that awareness. Then we will get together as a crew, just like we're doing here. And if someone has definitive information, I think I would lean on the definitive information. And if not, I would lean on my instinctual information and come to a decision, which I'm going to hold my decision until I hear what Daniel says.
Daniel's going to collect his thoughts. Would you be winding your arm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes. I would probably be using some expletives in the 020, wondering why is the clock stopped.
Really, and I mean, look, I don't know. I don't want to go into this like space where we're just idealistic and not realistic and practical. But we really, is it too extreme to say we need to have a sense of the correct status of the clock every single play? And what I mean, like for the play clock, we check it every single play. Surely we're doing that on the game clock as well, right? So somebody needs to be winding the clock. Right? Like, I mean, even if it's not the referee, we can what about the play clock operator's perspective on that, Tuta? So do you tell, because I'll tell a play clock operator only reset the play clock as a function of the referee signal. Is that the same thing for a clock operator, or do you tell them if the umpire is winding it, go ahead and wind it up?
I don't tell them anything. I would be perfectly honest. I have no idea what our field officials tell them. I would assume they only tell them me because nobody else winds the clock other than me. If I'm not winding the clock off the clock and stop, they would just tell me in the 020 wind the clock.
Sometimes the referee has wound the clock and it still doesn't start.
I know, but
I know we've had other crew members like wind it. Like you got 8 guys out there winding their arm, shoulder off.
Right.
Yeah, we love that. Well, I see this as a situation where, and I don't know if we should really be blaming the clock operator, by the way. I'm not sure there's an official who didn't signal timeout thinking it was a first down.
Sure.
So I have no idea.
Right. Good point. Point.
So
here's what I would say.
All right.
Just so I didn't, totally evade the answer. I think we want to be winding it as we see the clock stop. The clock's not supposed to be stopped. It's winding. I don't think I want to get in the business of how long this delay is. We want to get the clock started. He starts the clock prior to the snap. The ball spiked. We need to immediately check the clock and there's no excuse for not having positive knowledge on the field of when the clock was set. And then I think we just reset it to when the ball was spiked.
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Wow.
I can't totally disagree, but man, that is tough.
I agree. I think it's easier here because excuse me, it's 5 seconds. If he spikes it at 3 or 2, now I'm really going back and forth and second guessing it. With us spiking it at 5, I feel like we just leave it.
Interesting.
You mean reset it, not leave it, but reset it.
Right,
what
right,
you're about
right.
to do is say, please
Yes.
reset the game clock to 5 seconds.
Yes, sorry.
So now what you just said is it took only 3 seconds for the team to get all the way up to the line, fumble with the ball, get the umpire to spot the ball, and spike the ball. That's what you're saying by resetting the clock to 5 seconds.
Nope.
That is
what I'm saying is I think it took less than 8 seconds.
You're saying it took 3 seconds because you just told me to reset the clock to 5.
No. I don't. Okay, so in my mind, that whether we reset it to 5 or 3 isn't necessarily relevant to what happens next. I think we know that the ball was spiked at 5 seconds. I think getting in the business of deciding how long I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible someone knows for sure. I'd be shocked if anybody can come in and say, look,
right.
That clock was stopped for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and it should have been winding. It was 4 seconds from the time the play was dead to the time the clock wound. And so we got to fix that. That would just blow my mind. So I think the only thing we can do, we can't let the clock expire. I don't think we can do that. So I think we have to put time back on the clock in this situation. And I think our only real way to do that is to go back to 5 seconds. And I think
because that's what's factual based on the rules of our game.
Right.
See, you know what? You changed my mind, Daniel. I really want this half to be over. But
I don't think we can do
How?
that.
I mean, I get it too. What you're saying, it's like, well, the clock should have been running and it wasn't, and then it did, and now I think maybe it's just fair, but like Daniel's saying, we only kind of deal within facts, and
right.
You know,
and the fact is the ball was spiked at 5 seconds.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel good at all.
It doesn't.
Oh no, it's not going to be a positive. It's not
so this is the national championship game, and Team A is behind by 2 points
at the fourth quarter.
There's nothing
and they have a really good kicker. So
there's nothing you're going to do. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to be correct.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. Right. That's true.
So
that's true.
Whatever led to the clock stoppage is obviously the opportunity for improvement here, which we want to look at that. But the solution. Okay, let's just talk about rules. There's really no rule that says we can come together and say, well, what did you think the clock should be? What did you think it should be? Right. How much do you that's not, there's no rule for that.
Because we're just making stuff up at that point.
Right. So that's why Daniel's correct. Even though we kind of understand that, gosh, could they have really come up and got, I don't know, put a stopwatch to it, I guess. But man, I don't know. Would you, so if this play was reviewable, would we want the replay official to potentially use a stopwatch?
Well, this is reviewable, Brandon.
No.
Well, the game clock went to 0.
That's true. That's true.
So if we go to replay, we almost have to put it at 5.
No, that's right. You're exactly right.
So unless we do something on the field, well, it's still reviewable anyway. But whatever we do on the field, the replay official has indisputable visual evidence that Correct. The play ended at 5 seconds.
The ball hit the ground with 5 seconds on the clock.
Correct. Which leads me even more to agree with Daniel. Dang, why do I have to agree with Daniel so much?
I know you hate it.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so
but deep down you don't.
So that's really, it's easy to say that here, looking at this on a webinar.
I know.
So I'm going to give the crew some props.
That's
the
for
crew here. The crew exercised what maybe is the other side of the fence here. The crew tried to exercise some common sense and felt like the clock would have kept running, and they ended the half.
See, that's what I was originally thinking.
Yeah. And I can't other than the rule support side of it, I can't say. I mean, it's kind of, you just look at this and consume what happens. It's like, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. I just don't know if we want to be in the business of fixing clocks that direction. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Because we're
Correct.
really, we always fix clocks the other way. We always say, hey, please reset the clock to 5 seconds when the ball hit the ground
Right.
or whatever. We normally, other than 10-second runoffs, which are very prescriptive by rule under certain conditions, we don't ever say we should have had a couple more seconds run off. You know?
Okay, well, let me ask you this question, Brandon. Let's say the clock never ran on this play. Would you be opposed to us saying the clock did not operate properly on this play?
And again,
and then
what do you
take
do,
time
though?
off.
How much? That's the issue.
7
There's no
seconds.
bright line. Yeah, 7 seconds.
All right.
There's
Yeah.
no bright line. So we don't have a bright line here. I mean,
Oh man.
you could say maybe this should be a 10-second runoff, but that's not covered by the rules. You could say, shouldn't this be an egregious error? What? I mean, yeah.
But you can't, there's no way to know how much time elapsed unless there is an actual game clock on, which the game clock is showing that it stopped. So the only way you could actually know how much time elapsed was to use a stopwatch, and that is not permissible. It's funny, we had this conversation earlier in our probably week 3 in our pregame, based on one of the questions that we had on our rules test.
So, you know,
Do you
3-4-3
think, think there was collaborative help here where maybe replay just puts a stopwatch on it and say, look,
that's what I'm wondering. Maybe.
And I would not be at all surprised, rules be damned, if a conference office supported that. You know what? And I'm not speaking to this one. I don't have any. I don't have any insight at all. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah. There's some talk about some 3-4-3, which has really been known as kind of the referee God clause for the clock. I think. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, nobody did anything unfair here, right? Either team. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
So usually that's more along the lines of, well, in my judgment, a team consumed or conserved time unfairly, so I'm going to manipulate the clock based on that. Nobody did that here. This was just a administrative error.
Right. So I love the referee's mechanics, by the way, while we're sitting around the campfire.
So calm.
He's really calm, and he put his back to the camera so he can say whatever he needs to say without everybody picking up what he's saying.
And
he might
be lacing that conversation with 4-letter words, but we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
He might just he might be going
off. He's using 4-letter words for sure.
Right. And rightfully so. I mean, this is not a comfortable situation.
No.
But he gives the appearance of a calm, composed.
Right.
When they come out and they claim, they declare the half over, it's very concise and professional and just very impressive the way this was handled. Although I don't know, really by rule if that's proper, but because like you said, DY, if we end the half, the offense is going to say, what are you talking about? I mean, how do you know that we wouldn't have I know that my guys would have got the spike off.
Correct.
We're good. We're organized. And the defense is going to say, they had way too much time to get that spike off. And honestly, they're probably both right. So it's just unfortunate.
It's hard to argue with what they did. I'll be honest with you. Really,
I agree.
It's hard to argue.
It's hard to argue, but yeah, I mean, just if we're lawyers, it's not
right.
You can't support it.
Agree.
Yeah. But we're not lawyers. It's a game of football. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not to minimize the game, but if this happens on January 11th on Monday night, right? And what are we gonna do? Like you
said, whoever's the supervisor and the national secretary rules editor who's up in the booth is going to make that decision. I promise you that.
Well, yeah, I guess.
No guess. I promise you that the field officials are not going to be left to their own devices in this type of situation, not for the national championship.
Yeah. Now, again, so here's the thing, though. If you are the official that kills this clock because you thought this 20-yard gain was a first down, you almost got to make sure you come clean, don't you?
I think you own it. Yes, you got to own it.
See that?
You gotta
I mean,
own it.
we're blaming the clock operator here. Poor
Correct.
guy or gal. I have no idea. Again, it's as likely, if not more, that unofficial killed the clock. So in that case, I don't know. I don't know how you can just end the half. But you know what? I don't know.
In that
Yeah.
case, you can't. I don't think you. I literally don't think you can. Because if we made a mistake on the field and killed the clock, then we just have to go with what actually happened with the action on the field. I don't think we can just try to go make some stuff up, say, oh well, you shouldn't have killed it, and if you had not killed it, then blah blah. We can't do that.
Right.
Right.
And the other thing is you gotta own it, Brandon, because we're gonna get to post game. We're gonna get to the film back, and you're gonna be on film doing it. So don't try to hide. Just admit, just own your mistake. If you did make a mistake, own it. It sucks really bad to make mistakes like that.
Yeah.
Speaking as a person who's given a team a fourth timeout when they didn't have one,
Yeah,
it sucks really bad to make that mistake, but you gotta own it.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right. So everybody can do with this. This is just probably a good thing to talk about with clock operators. You know, I mean, let's not have this happen. Let's not be the official that isn't aware that it's 2nd and 24 on a 20-yard gain at the end of the half. You know, we're trying to get to halftime here. So this is a real deal. I mean, it's not a what if.
Right.
All right. This happened.
All right. Where are we going next?
We're going to Richmond, Virginia. I think JMU is in Richmond. James Madison University. I'm pretty sure they're in
I thought
Richmond.
they were more in the Northeast, but I don't really know.
I could be wrong, but
James Madison feels like in Virginia. That's for sure.
Well, they're definitely in Virginia. I don't know if it's Richmond. I don't know what city, if it's Richmond or not. But I know they're in Virginia.
Good softball.
Oh, we got a poll. So buckle up. If you're tired of listening and you're ready to read, buckle up.
Holy. Yeah. What is going on?
All right. Yeah, what's going on the field, man? That's my question. What in the world just happened?
I gotta press do it later.
You have 78 million choices, but they're really basic choices. They all start with, at what point in time are we going to kill the clock on this play? At what point in time is the play over? So first, that's what you need to determine. And then you got to figure out, how do you enforce the penalty? And then, or you just determine there is no penalty. So there you go. But that's basically what we got to start with. When do we kill the clock?
What did the puncher do? I guess we don't want to talk about that, but
No, we probably don't want to talk about that until we're done here.
So weird.
I know.
See, these rules are, I'll just say, not well studied. You know, the whole return kick. Like, what the hell? What's a return kick? I mean, you know, and then something stops the clock. These were always just like, okay, whatever.
Until it happens in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you gotta work it.
Yeah.
Daniel's downfield laughing right now.
Just laughing.
Oh, I'm just feeling so good about everything that just happened.
He's giving the tip signal for no reason. Inside joke.
Why would I do that? Explain that to me.
Oh, and then my favorite was somebody once told me there's a difference between an illegal kick and illegally kicking the ball. Okay.
That's true.
I understand.
It's in the rule book, so.
Well, yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Okay.
Illegally kicking is
I think some people have finally read through the multiple options. What is K? How do you get to K? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. 11 options.
Gravy.
Oh, you were mapping the number line against the alphabet there?
I was using my fingers. Thankfully, I didn't have to take off my socks and start using toes, but I use my fingers.
You got to 11. I mean, one digit short there.
I just threw an extra one in there. Look at this. I love this so far.
We have 10% per answer. Is that what you love? That doesn't work. 8%,
No,
9%.
no. Well, Daniel, I don't know if you know or not, but the percentages are going to change when more votes come in, because when you start
That's true.
adding up.
I do know that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. The percentages are only going to stabilize and levelize once all of the votes have come in.
I'm sorry, and what?
Stabilize and levelize.
Levelized.
Yes, I may have just created that word, but I'm comfortable with
Thank
creating
you.
it.
Thank you for doing that for me. I appreciate that. I mean, for acknowledging that you made that up, so I didn't have to do it.
No, I say I may have made that up.
You made it up. You made it up.
I love the referee on this play. He's like, what in the world just happened? You could tell, I could just read his body language. It's like, man, what in the world? Oh, we still got the votes coming in. All right, keep
This
them
is an
coming.
exciting
keep them
one. Here's what's going to happen from the back judge position. I'm just going to come in and be like, what do you guys have? Just tell me what you got, and let me
And then
fix
what?
this. And let me
Yeah.
fix this for you.
Oh, is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, Brandon, that's what I'm going to do. And if the H just needs to keep signaling, just keep signaling until it starts to make sense.
Just
Keep killing the clock until you have some kind of idea about what just happened.
Of course, we say that in jest, but I mean it's true, man.
Oh yeah,
we're out there.
Yeah.
Like, your brain has to be racing 7 million miles an hour. It's like, oh my god! And then you start to think about every rule that you've ever learned from when you first stepped on the field, working JV in 8th grade football. It's like, man.
Oh. All right.
Because I can promise you, nobody on this crew has seen that exact play in person before.
Maybe on a test.
Oh yeah, that's right. And we're probably guilty, but probably like, what a stupid question.
Exactly.
Why am I working this?
I may decide to just end it here. I think
Yeah.
people have decided that they're not going to read. They're protesting. I don't
agree.
appreciate that.
I
I'm
agree
gonna be
with
honest. You pure officiating universe. I don't appreciate that. I'm gonna put a yes or no question the next time we write a poll. It's gonna be yes or no. Is this a foul?
Well, look, I don't know. It's more than reading. You got to read and then go back and forth. Well, wait, what did that one say? So it takes a little bit of time. Just maybe give it another minute. What do you say?
I helped everyone. I guided us along and said, look, first of all, determine when you're going to kill the play. Okay, that's the first thing. And if you know when you're going to kill the play, you can eliminate what is that? 8 or 9 of these answers. And you just ignore them. Don't even waste your time with them.
Right.
But it's okay. It's okay. I won't be angry. Closing the poll. We're all over the place. Just plain and simple. We're all over the place. Look at this. We got 8%, 17%, 17%, 33%. 8% and 17%. So we're all over the place. Wow.
Right.
So where do we start exactly, man?
Well, can we start just somewhere really simple and basic?
What's the result of the play? 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 What's the result of the play?
You should start with the result of the play, I feel like.
Well,
man, shout out to our guy John Rome,
Always
man.
Johnny Rome.
Love him to death. So, what kind of play is this, first of all?
right. What does the punter do? Is that a kick?
Is it a foul? Let's start. I guess we got to figure out, do we have a foul on the play?
Can you drop?
That's where I was going, and that's the first thing is, do we have a foul? Is he allowed to kick the ball off the ground like that?
So
Intentionally?
Intentionally.
How about this?
How about this?
Oh, watch this.
What are we doing?
Watch this.
No, don't.
Oh, don't you dare.
Daniel, everybody asked for it, okay? Everybody asked for it.
Oh, what is all this?
It's the rule book.
If I lose?
Yeah, if you lose,
Wow.
I'll respond with respect. That's how I
Oh,
rule.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
I know you work under different rules, and I know you're so big and bad. Yeah, you're so great. Yeah.
If I, the rule book ad is if I lose.
So, what was that a scrimmage kick? Was that a legal scrimmage kick? Let's start there.
That's what we got to decide.
That's what we got to decide. Okay.
Do you have to
Oh,
decide?
this is something else. Hold on. Let's get to rule 2. Where's rule 2?
I don't know that you have to decide that.
Why is that?
We don't have to decide. Okay, well, where do you want to start, Daniel?
Well, I thought your first question is it a foul or not?
Yeah,
Or is that
well,
the same
how do we-
question?
legal-
That's different.
That's kind of the same question. Can a player kick a ball that's on the ground?
Okay.
So let's just establish that his foot clearly contacts the ball after it struck the ground.
After it struck the ground. Oh, because someone asked about a drop kick, right?
Right.
Oh, I had one of those this year. Do y'all know that? Do you
What?
have I communicated
No,
that
you
with the
did
group
not.
that we had
No,
a
you
drop
did
kick?
not.
There's no drop.
What?
Seriously?
Yes, on an onside kick. There was they
Oh.
drop kicked it. Yeah. And they
Oh.
did it beyond the restraining line, and I did.
It would help if I opened up the right rule book.
Kinda loud.
Excuse me. I knew something was wrong. Okay.
You were looking at the USFL.
No, I was in a case.
Oh,
Okay, drop kick.
all right.
Okay, a drop kick. Let me get all of this crap off of the screen. Okay. A drop kick is a kick by a player who drops the ball and kicks it as it touches the ground.
As
In
it
other words,
touches
the
the ground.
ball must be in contact with the ground when the player kicked the ball. Is that what happened on that play? I
No,
would say the answer to that is no.
Really?
He kicked the ball after the ball had touched the ground. The ball was clearly on the ground, and then it was kicked.
correct.
That's a difficult judgment.
No, not in that instance. That
It
was
can
pretty-
be, but it's not there.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. So that was
Super
not
obvious.
a drop kick. Okay, what is a punt?
Okay. So
Was it a punt?
no.
A punt is a kick by a player who drops the ball and kicks it before it touches the ground. So that was not a punt
I
or a
think
drop
everybody
kick.
knows what a punt is. I don't.
Okay. So what is this?
I don't know. Maybe it's a foul. What about a
It's-
scrimmage kick?
It's.
Oh,
Why do you keep saying scrimmage kick?
Well, wasn't that a scrimmage kick play?
It was.
Was it?
What's a scrimmage kick?
Oh, I'm scared. Oh, you scared me, Daniel. Was that a scrimmage kick play?
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, why not?
You got to have a legal kick.
Oh, so how do we know if that was a scrimmage kick or not?
Could have a punt, drop kick, field goal, or place kick.
What are you doing?
There it is. There it is. I should have
What?
just looked on the side.
What?
I'm not
A
loving
scrimmage
this
kick.
exercise. I'm going to be transparent.
I don't care. I'm a geek. A scrimmage kick is a punt, drop kick, or
Okay.
field goal place kick, period. Was any of that? We just established it wasn't a punt.
If
We
it's not a
established it
drop
wasn't
kick,
a drop kick. And we don't even need to waste our time. It wasn't a field goal place kick. So
No.
guess what? That was not a scrimmage kick.
okay. So it's a run because he controlled the ball.
It wasn't a pass.
I
It
know.
wasn't a scrimmage kick, right?
It's a running play.
So it's a fumble.
Okay.
Or did he muff the snap?
Do we need all this? Do we need all this? To
Okay,
get
where
to
you
the-
want to go next, Daniel? We need to figure this out. Where you want to go next?
I think the first question you asked was, is it a foul? Can you kick the? I mean, he intentionally kicks a ball that's at rest on the ground. Can you do that?
It wasn't at rest. I would
It wasn't
disagree
at
that it was
rest.
at rest.
Okay, that's
we'll go to
true.
Rule
At
9.
rest
We'll
is
go to
not.
Rule 9.
But
What is
he
a
kicked
drop
the
kick?
ball that was on the ground intentionally.
Correct. That would be Rule 9. Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Let's go to Rule 9. Illegal kicking and batting is towards the end. There it is. Batting and kicking.
Can you make that text any smaller?
I think we
Yeah.
need the play type after this.
A player shall not kick a loose ball, a forward pass, or a ball being held for a place kick by an opponent.
Can
So
I
was
just
that a
say
loose
something?
ball?
Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
something? I'm not sure that I knew that you couldn't kick a forward pass. Like you can't just do a roundhouse on it. I don't think I knew
Yeah.
that. I think if that
Bruce
happened in a
Lee.
game, I'd have been like, dang, that was crazy, and not thrown a flag.
Right.
It's
Well,
a foul.
you can't kick a forward pass. Now you know.
So if you bicycle kick it as a linebacker, bicycle kicks a forward pass, a screen pass, that's illegal. You can't do that.
Probably can't do that.
Can't do it.
Okay. So here we go. A player shall not kick a loose ball. Okay. So that dude just did that.
Okay.
Violated that rule.
He violated the rule. So we have a foul. That was a foul. Okay.
All right.
What about illegal kicking or illegal kick? What is
See,
an
this
illegal kick?
Don't please don't.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's when we punt the ball beyond the line of scrimmage.
Beyond the line of scrimmage, and that immediately causes the ball to become dead. Is that
Correct.
correct?
That's not what we did.
That's not what we did. So we can't get confused with that situation. That is not what happened in that play. So now we can start narrowing this stuff down in our brain here. I know Brandon loves this.
Well, wasn't
Return
part of it?
It's gotta be
did
a return
every-
kick.
Did every answer choice identify a foul, or weren't there some that said this is not a foul?
Yes, there was something that said it was not a foul.
Okay.
Well, it's
Those-
obviously a
those-
foul. We just showed that it's a foul.
Cool. So those are gone, and now we've
Those are
just said the clock is not going to stop when the foul occurs, right?
It's not. So those first three are gone.
Those are gone. We're making progress.
Right.
One.
Okay, what about fourth down fumble rule?
Yeah.
Because the runner picked up the ball. He wasn't the one who originally controlled the snap, or was he?
No.
All right, let's
The
go
guy
back.
that kicked
Maybe
the
I'll-
ball. The guy that kicked the ball picked up the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. Oh,
No.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
Was this the play we had in Salt Lake?
In Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Oh, it's close to it. It's
Yeah.
close to it. Let's go back. So who originally controlled the snap? That's the first question we got to ask ourselves.
90.
Did he control the snap?
Yes.
Yes. Barely.
Yes, he did.
Golly, just barely.
Yeah. Okay. So if this is fourth down fumble, initially he muffed it, then he controlled it. I think we can agree. So the ball is dead when number 11 picked it up. Is that correct? Because of the fourth down fumble rule?
That's right.
Which makes that, in my opinion, that's the hardest thing to snap to on the field out of all of this.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
just so dang hard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a drop kick.
It's not.
I
a drop
still
kick.
had a
Did you just now get there, Brandon?
I
You
have
just
a
now got
question.
there?
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
a drop kick
Yeah, you
is.
suck. You,
a drop
you
kick-
worked this position how long?
I've never seen this before, other than in Salt Lake.
Okay, we're convinced 96 controls this because I'm just like, oh my gosh, did he control it?
Yeah, I mean, he puts it out in front of him intentionally. So I think the process of gaining possession is over right there.
Yeah,
I do. I agree.
I think you're
agree.
right. I think you're right.
He drops the ball. I mean, that isn't that common to the game. So there's some element of him wanting to kick this ball, right?
Again, yes, he tried to kick the ball. Yes, he did. Before he actually kicked it.
Right. So I think
Well, he wanted
dropping
to
the
kick
ball
it.
right there.
I agree.
mean,
I agree.
It's not a muff. So he's on the ground. It's a fumble. It's basically a fumble. If this is an illegal kick, that's a fumble.
Okay, so we should kill the play as
Well-
soon as A11 picks up the ball.
Yes. If we decide 96
Yeah.
have in control.
And who's gonna know that?
I don't know.
Nobody. Let's be for real. Nobody.
It's still a foul. If you don't have that as a
Yeah.
legal drop kick,
That's not a.
by the
that's
way,
not-
can
Nobody
you,
has it as a
seriously,
legal
hang on,
drop
hang on. Can you punt the ball via drop kick? Seriously, that's
Yes.
legal, correct?
It's a scrimmage.
Yes, it is. It's
okay,
a scrimmage
good.
kick.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't make me bring the rule book back up.
No,
That failed
no,
miserably.
please,
That
God,
failed horribly.
please do not.
It didn't go
We
right.
got to see all your yellow search items again. No, we don't want that. But okay, so this is not a drop kick because that would look a lot different than this.
Yeah.
This is kicking a loose ball. Why is the
Which is
ball
a foul.
loose? So the status of the ball when it's loose is what?
A
That's
fumble.
A fumble. Which
Because
we know that an
90
illegal
gained clear
kick.
possession.
We saw in the rule that you put up there, although you didn't address it, we saw that an illegal kick does not change the status of the ball. That's by rule.
Correct. Correct.
that's important,
Oh, I
too.
see where you're going, Brandon.
Yeah,
So
that's
you're
why it's
saying
still a fumble.
the fourth down fumble rule is still on, even
Yeah.
though the player kicked the ball.
Right. Right. Now, we need a foul here. So fourth down fumble rule isn't too important if we're going to enforce the penalty.
Correct. Well, how do we enforce it? Do we go to the previous spot? Because this
No.
was during the scrimmage kick play, right? So we got to go to the previous spot.
Oh, you know what?
Special enforcement.
No, it's spot of the foul, right? Everybody thinks the illegal kick is spot of the foul.
It is.
Is it?
Of course it is. But what about this scrimmage kick play?
It's not
I'm
a
waiting on
scrimmage
somebody to smack me and say it's not a scrimmage
Not a
kick play because
scrimmage
it's
kick.
not. A
Yeah,
scrimmage
I mean,
kick
what
play
are you
is
talking
only a
about?
play when you have a legal scrimmage kick.
Right.
This is not a scrimmage kick.
No, and I mean, this
This is nothing but a run play.
you were talking about 3-and-1 earlier. There's no 3-and-1 here, other than there's really no 3-and-1 here. So the penalty is described in the penalty section, right? The enforcement of the penalty is described explicitly in the penalty section of this rule.
How's it described? What is the language?
Just go to the rule. Please don't share your screen again, but just go to the rule
No, I'm
and
asking.
it's there, right? Spot of the foul.
Are you sure though?
I think so.
No, he's not sure. No, he's
See,
not
this
sure.
is we
I'll help
do
you
this
out. He's
all the
not sure.
time. We do this
Exactly.
all the time.
It's 10 yards plus loss of down for fouls
Correct.
by team A if the loss of down is not in
And-
conflict with other rules.
And our
There's
favorite.
no spot.
So if it's not
Yeah.
spot of the foul,
That's
then
not
it's
true.
John,
It is.
Brandon, okay. Do you want me to share my screen again? This
Now
one?
listen. We may end up penalizing at the spot of the foul. But
Exactly.
it's not stated in the penalty enforcement.
Oh, really?
It's
That's
a 3-and. What's our favorite?
It is 3-and-1. So it's classic 3-and-1 without the exception of
Classic
blocking foul.
3-and-1.
Beautiful. Okay.
Wait. What about we don't penalize the offense from behind the line? What about
No,
that
that's
part?
on blocking fouls.
Oh. Now that's specified.
That is somewhere.
Fouls by the offensive team behind the neutral zone.
So
So
that's
the
why
following
this is
fouls
foul.
committed by the offensive team behind the neutral zone, the
Interesting.
penalty is enforced at the previous spot. That will be illegal use of hands, holding, illegal block, and personal fouls.
Personal fouls.
So really the fact that there's no spot referenced in the penalty is why this is
Well, that's when you go back to your question. It's not a scrimmage kick play, right? So what is it?
it's a running play.
It's a running play.
It's a running play.
The end
And
of the
the
run
foul
is
occurred-
behind the neutral zone. So the basic
There it is.
spot is the previous spot, but the spot of the foul is behind the
Behind the
basic
basic
spot.
spot.
So you go from the spot of the foul.
Correct.
Whew, that's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like this is so common. Well, it's illegal kick, spot of the foul, and oftentimes that'll end up being correct. Well,
Right.
I don't know. Often may be extreme, but in this situation, like on those test questions, it seems like a lot of times that ends up being correct, and maybe that's why we're not very good at knowing how to enforce this.
Jeez and Pete's.
It's
All right,
possible.
let's see the
Now, check this out, though. It's possible. Well, this doesn't help with enforcement. I think 90 could. I agree. This is a fumble. He could go through all of this and kind of bat that ball between his hands and it just fall and he still kick it. Now, do we enforce fourth down fumble rule? Like, so we're going through all of these things and we don't actually ever get firm control and possession. And we just kind of like bounces like a cat with a ball on the end of his
Then there
string
is no
between our
fourth down
hands.
fumble rule
Why not?
because a player there is not a fumble. Because
Mm.
in order to have a fumble, you must have player possession. In order to have player possession, you must gain possession by completing the process of catch
Well,
slash
what
recovery.
about the snap? The center possessed it to throw it back there.
Backwards pass? That would be a backwards pass that starts the play.
Hmm. Nice.
So unless this punter or kicker, whatever you want to call him, gain firm control of this ball, fourth down fumble play is not in effect. I have no idea how we're supposed to figure all this out on the field. I'm gonna be honest, and it may be something where we just let this whole thing play out and then come together and say, "Hold on, what just happened here? Let's figure this out."
Golly, you just look. If you're going to kill this, which is the right thing to do when 11
Right.
possesses the ball, you better
Or you
know
better
that
know.
you know that you know that you know.
Right. I think
And
the
we've
only
seen
people
this
who would know,
play-
Daniel, would be the center judge and the referee. Maybe I don't think anybody else. Would
Absolutely
really know.
agree. Absolutely agree. And look, I mean, we've seen this play now twice in the span of, I don't know when we were in Salt Lake. What is that? A year and a half.
Yeah.
And I still, if I'm the referee or center judge and see this, it's like it's just so bizarre.
It's very
Processing all of that. That's incredible. If you can watch all that and come in and say, no, he fumbled the ball, he illegal kicked it, 11 got it, it's fourth down. He's not the fumbler. The play's dead. I'm going to kill this. Like,
And oh, by the way, we're going to force it from back there where the dude kicked it from.
Yeah.
First down, team B. Ooh.
Yep. Something else.
Hey, can we tack this on to wherever team A is down by rule from the 37 and then go 10 yards from there into the 27? But then again, obviously we wouldn't want to do that because
I
guess my question, I was getting towards a scrimmage kick question where, we can tack on team A fouls to where team B is next to put the ball in play. But let's not get confused here because this is not a scrimmage kick play as we've explained over and over and over. This is not a scrimmage kick play. Even though in court formation, it's not a scrimmage kick play.
Right. But often, I mean, that's reasonable that your mind could go there that, oh, wait, this is a teammate foul on a punt. They can tack it on. It's not a punt, which is, colloquial for scrimmage kick play.
Brandon doesn't know what colloquial means. No, you're hurting his brain.
I apologize. But that's easy. I mean, the enforcement here is and I think those things we went through, establishing what kind of play it is really that's really akin to the result of the play, isn't it?
Yes, it absolutely. Because it sets us up to understand how do we enforce it when we go to Rule 10. Because Rule 10 is very specific on how we enforce penalties, and that is based upon what type of play it is. Is it a running play? Is it a scrimmage kick play? Or is it a pass play?
Yeah.
Not kick. It's not scrimmage kick. Kick play. Running play, kick play, pass play. Whew. All right, Daniel.
That was a good one. Yeah, I think everybody's brain's hurting.
Yeah. So go digest that, everyone who has nothing better to do with their time. Go flip through the rule book. You probably have to go to 10 different rules. I didn't go through all of it. I intended on having slides for all of those, and I was like, you know what? Let me just flip through the rule book live, and that didn't work out very well. So that proved to be a disaster. But
we rallied at the end.
We did. But that's what we got to do, man, to figure this stuff out. Know where to look in the book. Know what about the definitions. We got to go to Rule 2 because Rule 2 is going to tell us what things are. And then we got to go to Rule 10 because that tells us how to enforce it. Mixing a little Rule 6 while we're at it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had some good plays tonight. We nerded out a little bit on the rules, but that was fun.
Yeah, we did. All right. Dan Foreman saying thought only beyond the line of scrimmage. Well, this is not, we're not killing it. Let's just to reinforce, we're only killing this play because of the 4th down fumble rule. We're not killing this play because of the ball being kicked. That ball being kicked does not kill the play.
Right. Let me do this.
What are you doing, Daniel?
I was just going to copy and paste. Nobody remembers these answers. Nobody's going back and look. So I'm just going to put it in the. Because look, here's where we landed. By the way, just as we recap, most of us chose until 11 is down by rule, and that's that 4th down fumble rule where we just. In fact, we had 0% on the.
So not one of us knew how to handle this play properly. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Which isn't shocking, if I'm being honest. So here was our
because I mean,
answer.
Look at you, Daniel. Thank you. Can I vote on your answer? Can I do how do you say one of those things? Where you
give me a thumbs up or something.
Know. Yeah, one of them deals. How do I do that? Let's see.
Well, you can. It looks like you can kick out or ban me, which
I can ban you.
That would not be to the benefit of the community or the session.
Yeah, I think it would be, honestly. Okay, DY. Have a great game this weekend if you are working, sir.
I'm not. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, I'm not working either. I'll be on my couch as well. Enjoying some Big 12 football. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can text back and forth.
Yeah, I'll actually be on my couch in New Orleans. I'm going home this weekend, go see my kitties and see the dogs and check on the house. And then I'll be back at it next week.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Later.
See ya.